Ladies and gentlemen, it is my prayer and hope that this video is going to find you when you're doing fine and in good health. I'm also doing fine at this peripheral end, so let me know where you're watching this video from, which country and which continent. From the Middle East, things are fantastically well. So guys, we want to decode IAM-MARWA's message to the naysayers. While decoding it, there are specific kind of questions, up to 6 of them, 5 to 6 of them, thereabout, that we need to answer. You need to ask, because I'm deriving this kind of question depending on the last vlog that I did, because majority of people ask me specific question through my DM and WhatsApp inbox just to address myself into this, because there are certain quarters, most of the lazy gang, who are still in the mixed reaction because they couldn't really fathom and decode Amar's message. So I want to decode it for easier encoding. So stay tuned. But before we delve deep into encoding such kind of questions, in decoding Amara's statement, there are 3 questions that I need to ask ourselves now. Then the rest of the question I will ask at the progression stages of this video. Number 1, why was the message, or in other words, why was IAM-MARWA sending the message to the naysayers? Number 2, to whom was it being addressed to? Number 1 is why the message, and to whom was that message addressed to or was meant? And number 3, what was the context in which IAM-MARWA was sending the message? So those are the 3 important questions that will enable us decode IAM-MARWA's statement, so that we don't direct this kind of statement to people who are not meant for it. So guys, if you want to get to know more, these 3 questions are going to be answered at the progression stages of this video. Now, your remorseful questions that have been bugging your mind will at least and at the end have an answer. So if you're coming across this channel and this video for the very first time, kindly click at the notification bell so that whenever I upload a video, YouTube shall notify you instantly. To my last subscriber, may God bless you abundantly. So let's dive in, lest we forget. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to my YouTube chit chat. My name is Inazak and this is my YouTube channel. So let's dive in straight away lest we forget. I'd ask you 3 questions and I don't want to get back into it. You know, there is also further 3 questions that also must be asked, because I promised you we'll delve into the context, to whom is it being addressed to, and why the message was sent. Those are the first 3 questions that I had asked. The answers will be detailed at the progression stages of this video. The segment 2 with 3 questions, we need to ask ourselves, what was the content of the message itself, so that we get the meaning. That one alone will help us decode the statement itself. In which context, that's question number 2, that IAM-MARWA was sending such questions, in which context? We are also going to unravel the context that precipitated IAM-MARWA to send that question to the naysayers. And the last question, was there any other kind of a special event that was taking place in IAM-MARWA's surrounding, that really the question of the message itself was premised? So those are the things that we want to delve in and unravel at this moment, because it seems IAM-MARWA was speaking to particular kind of people. It seems IAM-MARWA was talking to people that it's well known of it. Let me tell you a story before we delve into it, because this is the story within a story. The main of this story will also help you to encode, because I just want to engage our mind so that we get to know, do you have the wherewithal of decoding statements from IAM-MARWA? Because the level of the naysayers not encoding or decoding statements, therefore they go and react into things that are never making sense. It is a worrisome and really makes them so dense. Let me tell you a story. Do you know almost 90% of the birds in New Zealand do not fly or cannot fly anymore? The reasons being, and it's a fact, it is just because the birds have got no reasons to fly. And if you ask yourself, why are such birds has got no reasons to fly? Because they keep crawling because there is a lot of food in New Zealand that all these foods are droplets of foods down on the environment. Therefore, all the birds therein have said they will never fly, and they've decided to eat the food that is a droplets on the ground. So this is what they are gallivanting, scavenging on. And you know the reason scientifically proven that most of the thing that makes bird never to fly is because they have a lot of deposit fats along their wings. Therefore, that one alone makes them never to fly. That's the reasons why hen could not fly, because that is their lifestyle. We are being told such birds cannot fly even up to now because the depository of the fats has inflamed the ability for the wings to flap so that they could fly. What do we get with that kind of analogy? What do you get the kind of analogy? The analogy is birds were meant to fly, but others have just decided never to fly just because they are in their comfort zones. So the comfort zones themselves can come into your life and affect your life and give your life a negative projection that you don't want to try anything else. That your work is just to feel lazy, vexed, with no purpose in life. Just as to human being, other people were meant to be great. Others were destined for greatness. But along the way, they never achieved the greatness because of the comfort of their zones. Therefore, they've been left to gallivant, to vex on any other kind of a human being, because that alone is a paranoia to their life. That alone is a reflection of what they ought to have achieved. They couldn't achieve, then they start to compare and contrast their life with the people who are achieving it. Then they will have to detonate name to describe the achievement of these people. Hence, that's why IAM-MARWA is being called Illuminati, a scammer. But the question is, IAM-MARWA a scammer? Never. This is just a mere hard work that at the end the result is coming so easy. You know, you might sit down and then you reflect at the life of IAM-MARWA that this guy is getting it so easy. There is no easy. Remember, the easy result that IAM-MARWA is getting now, it is a work that was done at the backdrop for 7 years straight, coupled with the challenges that other people don't see. To the village, you could see the Chris the Great. The word greatness itself, Chris is conjoining his success to the great. So the great that Chris want to achieve in the future. And this greatness is not coming. This greatness is coming gloomy and gloomy every day. That's why Chris the Greatness has decided to go back and being held captive with the village mindset that could never bring any kind of fruits. You know, I will explain. This is a guy who have gone to the university and studied political science. Political science majoring in what you call the public administration. A very wonderful course. But this is a guy who have decided never to free himself, but decided to get back to the community and start fighting and being conjoined with the village fools and start vexing negatively towards the development that is helping the community itself. I don't know the end game of this guy. Therefore, the analogy that I've given for the birds squarely is in assonance with what Chris the Greatness is. The greatness is not part and parcel of Chris. Chris wants to achieve the greatness. But the problem, Chris doesn't want to obey the process. The manner in which Chris wants to achieve the greatness itself is a manner of shutting other people down, bringing other people down. That is what Chris wants to take refuge on. So guys, back to the very main question. For us to enable us encode IAM-MARWA's message, let's look at the content.
But that is their problem. They can be jealous. That is their problem. For us, we'll keep living our own life. Sometimes I wonder, why would you be jealous on someone that, one, does not take food from your table, two, you're not competing for similar resources, He's doing his own line going there, you are doing your own line going to the other side. Why? But unless you just want to be them and you are disparate, that's when, and maybe you cannot reach that level, that's when maybe you push yourself to start feeling like, oh, I wish I was this person. But instead of feeling that, you can learn from the best, and you can also take it as a good way. Instead of feeling jealousy and all this, you can take it in a good way to build yourself, to learn from the best. Even me, I learned from the best. People like Casey and I learned, and then I became. And then, I don't know if you are ready to pay the price, because everything has a price. You know? I've been to over 70 countries, and somebody else, maybe from the village or in Africa here, has never left his own village. And he wants to compete with someone who has gone to 70 countries. Your thinking and my thinking in terms of the way I see the world is quite different. So instead of thinking of how to go to those countries and expand your knowledge, you are thinking about how you should, I don't know, stop me, or I don't know even what you are thinking. Sometimes it's even hard to explain. Even it's hard for my mind to be in your space. You know, I say this because lately we've had people trying to push. But me, I look at them and say, these ones, they will back and back and back, but the cows will be home at the end of the, you know? And it's very normal that when you're doing something, you'll always find some people trying to stop you in any way, you know? But that has nothing to do with me. That has everything to do with those people.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is Amara message. And Amara message was being addressed when Amara is in his compound. Yes, where the message was being sent from is in Amara compound, Amara villa. That alone connotates a very big message. What is the message? That Amara developed, you know, Amara home. A home is where you feel so comfortable. A home is where you build and you have all other kind of resources. It's a golden comfort to you and your family. Therefore, Amara sees the home as a comfort zone, a home of all its investment and achievement. That's where its safari and vehicles are rested. The family, Amara's wealth is all over there. Therefore, what is the bone of contention? The bone of contention is Amara Villa, which has become a eyesore for people who are so jealous in the villa, because of the villa. I've answered the 3 questions that I had asked. Why was the message? To whom was the message being sent? That one I'm going to write. Yeah? In what context the message was being sent? You know? To whom? Where was the message communicated? That alone. To answer the other part, to whom the message was being sent? In Amara's statement, there are some villagers. So the message was meant to the village naysayers. In extension to other people who are using the villagers to taunt IAM-MARWA. So this is the people who the message was meant to. And one of the person I've just mentioned there above, Chris. In what context the message was being sent? The message was being sent in the context of the villagers are not happy because IAM-MARWA is progressive, because IAM-MARWA is doing things that the villagers themselves cannot see. Therefore, even the politicians are into this and fooling other people. Remember, Max One is the other side being fooled by the politician, thinking that IAM-MARWA repairing the road. It's being mistaken that IAM-MARWA has got political ambition. And this is why politicians are also into these things. So if you see the face of Max One, the face of Ernest, these are the politicians driven to fight IAM-MARWA to that point, to the core. The last question to address: was there any other kind of special event that this message was premised to? The message itself was premised to all the progress that Amara has made in the society that are making people so jitters and people to talk. What are the things? Amara has sponsored the people. Amara has wanted to build a community that embraces change, a community that embraces development. So these are things that have been plotted by the community themselves, because the community has proven that they don't want that change. The community has proven that nobody will dare change them. Or maybe they want change from elsewhere, but never from IAM-MARWA. Why? Just because they considered IAM-MARWA as an alien, doesn't come from that village. So what is the problem? The problem we are going to discuss into the next, on the other side segment. We want to decode IAM-MARWA's message such that we get it sink or the sealed to the naysayers or to the larger part of majority, because it is my duty to always give you a comparative analysis that is so sound, that is so sinking. When I looked at IAM-MARWA message has got 6 points and 6 fundamental exudes that IAM-MARWA exuded. Whether the naysayer got it or they never got it, this is the message that I want to encode to you. 6 of them. When I heard IAM-MARWA speaking, the first point IAM-MARWA started with jealous people. Jealous what? People. And is finishing saying that is their problem. Which means in the village there live jealous people, and these people have got the great problem just because IAM-MARWA is developing, and IAM-MARWA wants to develop the community. And these people are so jealous of the development that IAM-MARWA is taking the community. In fact, they are saying this development is for IAM-MARWA own, just because IAM-MARWA did them using its capital. Remember, when I'm speaking of the capital, I speak of the hard capital, the social capital. Those are the capital itself, the mobility. Because people along that stream, your social construct is your social net worth. So when you say, and they say that IAM-MARWA doesn't build these things using his money from his pocket, my friend, who has got his own money? Even every other kind of government and state government, their money is not money. There's no government who has money. All this money are taxes from the people. The basis of people having the government, the basis of the government having the state, or the basis of state having the government, is because of the people. So all these monies you see the government is having is not the government's money. It's the people's money through the taxes. It's the money that they lend from other institutions. Therefore, the government has got no money. The money is for a people. So when you see IAM-MARWA, it's marshalling money and giving development and sponsoring people in the village. It is IAM-MARWA's money. That's the social capital that IAM-MARWA is having to the greater good of the community. And they don't see it. This is what it's lacking. It's because of the progressive nature of IAM-MARWA. You see, because IAM-MARWA is building, IAM-MARWA has erected a fence at home. Therefore, you see somebody like the Chris the Great and other people now wants IAM-MARWA house and IAM-MARWA fence to be demolished. They don't get to see the reasons. Because remember, if you see when IAM-MARWA built, look at the other side of the river. The reasons why IAM-MARWA built that clay path was to build the dike so that the degradations of the soil could stop. I'm telling you, with that gabion of the dikes being built, IAM-MARWA land could have been degraded up to the middle. Therefore, that clay bath itself is not a blockade of the river. It is to restore the status of the river and to make the soil along the river so stable so that there is no gabion erosion or splash erosion. And these are what the village salads and the village naysayers could not perform and could not see. Jealous for no reason. Number 2, statement, and the message that I'm getting from IAM-MARWA is disparate naysayers or the disparate villagers. You know, a disparate man will fight any other thing that person doing, even without asking themselves what is the importance of these things. And who are the disparates? I've told you the villagers who are opposed to MR's development. One, they are reacting out of anything that MRWA start. They want to bring MRS down. Not because they don't like what MR is doing, just because they're desperate, because they're looking, I could be the one achieving what MR is doing, but I could not reach. Maybe they want the life of MR big time, but they don't want to ask how MR has achieved it. They just want to wake at one point, then therefore they be at MR. That's why they've tried everything that MR have tried. That's why majority of people who came to this YouTube street and went to MR's place, they think MR was just begging in this YouTube street. But when they were opened to the channel, they started employing begging, thinking that MR was begging. What happened? The YouTube flopped. And up to now, they've never come back and they've left YouTube big time. And they started calling Amarwa the name of Illuminati or the witchcraft. Because they couldn't see. It's not easy. It's not easy. Number three, they have no one to learn from. They have got no role model. Because Amora is telling us he learned from the very best, from a very good YouTuber. And there is something so inspirational that was so dear to Amora. That is what Amora captured and copied. Countless number of time, Amora has told us, if you want to be the best, look for the best person whom you admire and just copy them, what they're doing, toe to toe. Therefore, you'll achieve with consistency. But the village naysayers, they've just refused and they never have any role model. So which means they will never learn. Because anybody in the village, if any day they go to Amara, what they want quick money. What they want to scam people along this YouTube street. What they want to be Amara from day one without obeying the process. And this is the problem. They don't want to learn from any person who is the best. The people whom they emulate, it is GINTU. Because they are seeing GINTU's vexations is paying off that people are building GINTU's Ajit castle. It is not long lived. Wait until you see. It will go down very badly. Very badly. Four. Amara is delivering this message and is revealing that most of the villagers, these naysayers, are so fixated in mind. They lack exposure. And what they adore is the village mentality. So what is the village mentality? The village mentality is people glorify poverty. People glorify bad mind. People glorify living into the madhouse. So that poverty mindset itself, it was as bedridden these people to that state. Such that they are not very usual to good housing, decent housing, good vehicles. So that when you have, therefore, you're being given unprintable tags like Illuminati. So this is again what is bringing the problem, because they could not fathom that this is a thing that's really happening. So this is the big problem itself. You know, this is the things that all along I've been saying, that these people are not careful. So on the other part, that is number 5. Lesson or information that I'm getting from Amara. Amara is speaking to the issue of mobility. What is the mobility? Movement of people from one place to other, or from one country to the other, or from one town to another, or from one city to another, or from one village to another, in pursuit of a green culture or of education. So this is what the naysayers and the people with the bad mind and negative mind have lacked, because they're static. They cannot locomote. They cannot change the environment. The problem that comes in because the village mentality itself has made them so static that they can never think, they can never move to change, they can never go to learn. Even if they move, they will not learn because the village mentality has stuck from them. They've never changed the environment. Now, they want to compete with IAM-MARWA, who have traveled vastly. I've met people. And that's why IAM-MARWA is having that change of mindset of bringing development. But while the village are opposed to it. So these are the people who wants to fight IAM-MARWA. These are the people who wants to oppose everything that IAM-MARWA is doing. So this is the message that IAM-MARWA was sending people. The problem of the villagers is mobility. They don't move. If they move the border of Tanzania, taking liquor, moving around with women, so promiscuous indeed. Or perhaps
that mobility
if
they're
they
speaking
move,
about, what
it's
they
when
do.
Gintu moves from his village to Amaro Gate to Filim. The mobility is when Gintu moves to cause problems with Mayuguno or Ankomo. That is how Gintu can move. That is what Gintu is learning. Instead of you moving from one city to another, moving from one country to another, for you to learn from the best. You've refused to learn the best because all your problem is you're fighting IAM-MARWA. So BS. And number 6, last but not least, IAM-MARWA is telling us in myriads of all these challenges and all these problems, nothing will prevent cows reaching the home, which means the cows will reach home and dry. The cows will go to the river, drink water, and come back. And that is a soliloquy, and that is analogy in that we are not talking about cows hearing. What we are talking is like the objective of IAM-MARWA. What we are talking here, IAM-MARWA won't care. It will be sleeping and sound, and nothing will deter IAM-MARWA to achieve whatever he wants to achieve. You can bark the same way dogs are barking in the village, but nothing will deter IAM-MARWA from achieving whatever he wants to achieve. So guys, to wrap this conversation going forward, the villagers have decided to be an anti-change. The villagers have decided never to learn from the best. And that's why IAM-MARWA was telling these people, I don't want you to learn from me because I don't want to be a role model either. Because you've adored GINTU. Now you are learning the best from GINTU. IAM-MARWA is telling you because he doesn't share even food with you. He doesn't share very many things with you. It's just on his lane. Why must you be so jealous of him? Pursue your next course. Pursue your next development so that you can change your life. But the problem is the poverty mindset that the villagers have accustomed to themselves, making them so dwarf in thinking, so dwarf in development, so dwarf in bringing change upon them. So guys, if you're coming across this video for the very first time, kindly click on the notification bell so that whenever I upload a video, YouTube will notify you instantly. Find time to click, subscribe, and comment. So until next time, this is Senior Zach. So let me know what you think in the comment section. Bye.